Hello and very good evening, everyone. I'm Sayuka, your host for today's live from All About Skin Wellbeing team, and I'm sure all of you must be doing really good. So today we are going to discuss about our skin health with focus on urticaria or hives, which we or our near and dear ones would have encountered at some time in their lives. Now, urticaria is characterized by round rash on the skin that itch a lot. It may be due to chemicals in certain food items, allergy to certain medication, insect stings, sunlight, and sometimes the cause is even unknown. As per study published in Indian Journal of Dermatology and Venereology and Leprosy, more than one-fifth of the population suffer urticaria at one point of time. Now, 60% of the patients are in the age group of 30 to 40 years. Incidences are higher in older age groups. Urticaria is classified as acute and chronic. But the most important part is not to ignore it, and doing self-medication can actually worsen the symptoms. Consult your nearby qualified skin specialist immediately for an early relief. As you all know, in today's digital world, it's a boon or blessing if we can get to hear from an expert dermatologist online about urticaria and its management. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us renowned dermatologist Dr. Sunaina D. She is an MBBS, MD, BBL, DMD, BBL, and experienced dermatologist with 4 years of specialized clinical practice and a steadfast dedication to patient-centered care. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Sunaina.
Thank you so much.
So, doctor, today we are going to talk about urticaria. To start with, what is urticaria?
So you have given a very nice introduction about urticaria already. So I'd appreciate that. So urticaria is basically a skin condition where you see red patches and with swelling and itching. So the most important part about this urticaria is the first symptom is itching and it is transient. So what is transient? That means it comes and goes. It's on and off. So urticaria can be caused by various number of things, and like you said, the classification, it is mainly from a clinical standpoint or like from a practical therapeutic viewpoint, it is divided into acute and chronic. So acute is less than 6 weeks and chronic is more than 6 weeks. So acute urticaria, why do we divide this? Basically, like you said, it is a pretty common condition. Most of them would have experienced at least once in life. So when a patient of urticaria comes to the clinic, the first question that I would ask them is the duration. So is it the first time you've got? Has it been occurring again and again? And has it been more than 6 weeks? So if the patient says this is the first time, I would not investigate further, because let me tell you the causes of urticaria. So we say eyes of urticaria, basically, not this eye, HIJK, the eyes. So the eyes are idiopathic, immune related, injection, inunction. So all these, what are these eyes? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. So idiopathic, that means it can occur because of any reason and the cause is not identifiable even after investigation. So that is what idiopathic means. And to your surprise, at least 50% of the cases are idiopathic. So even after you investigate, there will be no cause found. So it can be a 1 or 2 time thing. So that is idiopathic. Then next one is ingestion. Ingestion of what? In food items. So the most common triggers, the most common food item that can trigger urticaria are artificially colored food and artificial flavors. So when a patient comes with urticaria, the first question I would ask is, have you eaten outside anywhere? And in most of the cases, they do say yes. Suppose they've eaten gobi, so that is fried in oil, covered in artificial colors, some sauces, flavors, MSG, everything is added. So various number of triggers in one thing. So that is ingestion of food. Ingestion of drugs. It can be anything from a simple paracetamol to pantoprazole you've taken for gastritis, or you've taken antibiotics for infection. So that can also be a trigger. One more I, infection itself. So infection doesn't mean some sort of huge thing. Even a common cold, a sore throat, or eye infection, ear infection. And one thing which most people tend to miss, dental infections. So even microcaries can cause urticaria. So gastritis. So this is one more I. One more I is insect bite. So you may not have noticed that an insect has bitten you. There will not be any acute symptoms, but later you might develop wheals, itching, and it might subside on its own. That is urticaria. And inunction. This is a new term for most people. Inunction means application of an ointment, like some people apply diclofenac gel or something for knee pain. That itself can cause urticaria. And one more thing is injection. So injection of anything. You've taken diclofenac injection or you've taken panaglazole injection. That itself can cause urticaria. So like I was saying, these are the most few common triggers and more common causes, and a little more severe is immune related urticaria. So that has to be investigated, and beyond 6 weeks, we'll have to do a lot of investigations, which I'll tell you about. Do you have any questions?
Yes, definitely, doctor. So the list of eyes is really long. Anything and
Yeah.
everything under the sun can cause urticaria. It's
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Now, is it a kind of allergy? And if yes, how serious it can be?
Okay. Yeah, I can call it a type of allergy, but more accurate would be your body reacting to any sort of stimulus. That's what urticaria is. So basically, I will be using a little bit of medical terms, so bear with me. So let me just explain to you. So this is a mast cell. So on top of a mast cell, there is a receptor, and on top of this receptor there is an antibody. So if two receptors come together, the contents of the mast cell come out. So you must have heard what is histamine, and that is the mediator, they say. So what happens when a mast cell degranulates, it breaks open, all the contents are released. So what will it do? The histamine basically dilates the blood vessels. So urticaria, what happens? You see edema, means swelling. You see swelling of the skin. So that swelling, how is it coming from? Because the blood vessel is getting dilated and whatever is inside the vessel is getting extravasated. So that's how the edema occurs. So yeah, this is the mechanism basically. And yeah, it is the most common type of allergy, you can say, and a type of body's reaction. I think you're on mute. I cannot hear you.
So, doctor, edema is one thing that could be dangerous or life threatening,
Yeah,
right?
actually. So urticaria, the most common ones just come and go here and there. But few lesions, we say angioedema, we say that is a deeper form of urticaria, and most of the symptoms usually commonly will be just itching, and you'll just have some redness, a little bit of wheals here and there. That is the most common simple form. Angioedema means a deeper form of urticaria, and you might see swelling in a few areas, like mostly lid swelling, and here your eyes may become puffy. And these are the regions which become puffy easily because the skin is very thin and there's not much of resistance there. So these are the areas where you see. So eye puffiness, then lips might get swollen, then you might have a little bit of difficulty in breathing because your throat is swollen. Near the genital areas, it might get swollen. So this is called angioedema. It's basically the same mechanism but a deeper form. There's one more really complicated one, and which needs immediate urgent intervention. We say anaphylaxis. So it is called anaphylactic shock because all the blood vessels are very, very dilated and the volume comes out of the blood vessels. So there's no blood where it is supposed to be. So the patient undergoes hypovolemic shock. So that's what they say. And the many complications can be the throat might get swollen up and the patient cannot take in air. So these are the complications, and we do have various options to manage it, but it needs immediate intervention.
Right. So, in case something like this happens, please go and consult the doctor immediately. Don't waste your time. A very common tendency in our society, doctor, is to go for home remedies, to go for DIYs. These days, there are so many influencers on various social media platforms, and
Yeah,
skin-related issues is one of the biggest, most trending, topics. And people
yeah,
love telling us what to do, what not to do, and most of them are not qualified already. Now,
yeah.
my question to you is: other or else we have these chemist shops very nearby, very easily accessible, available, and we know if allergy is, even if we don't know exactly what it is, it looks like an allergy to us, we can easily go take a anti-allergens, etc. This is normally what we do rather than going and taking advice from a
Yeah.
qualified doctor. What is your opinion on these DIYs, home remedies, over-the-counter application or medication, etc.? Do they really work or they can be harmful?
Yeah, so I want to talk about this topic, this skinfluencer topic, because everyone, just because you can see the skin like that, doesn't mean you know everything about the skin. No, it doesn't work like that. They are giving all sorts of misinformation to everyone without prescription. You take this, you take that, my skin become like this, it gave that glow, this glow. Please stop listening to influencers. Even dermatologists, when they speak on social media, they need to follow a certain set of guidelines. And if we don't follow, we will be called, and our an action will be taken against us. Our degree is in danger. But for these influencers, they have nothing to lose. No one will come and question them. That's why it is very rampant. But there are a few home remedies. Since it is a very common condition, urticaria, most of the people do not show up at the first visit. So that is why I was telling you, the first question I would ask is the duration. Is it less than 6 weeks, more than 6 weeks? Has that been multiple episodes? So a few things you should look for. You immediately have to go to the dermatologist, or you can decide whether to control it at home. So, like I said, the lip swelling, any breathing difficulty, even if you don't have that intense breathing difficulty or cough or anything, even mild symptoms, you should be alert. And again, more than 6 weeks. If it is coming more than 6 weeks, it has to be investigated. So, the most common ones which I have seen are because of dental infection and H. pylori. So, H. pylori basically causes gastritis, causes severe gastritis and stomach ulcers. So that is usually missed. So it needs an overall comprehensive approach. Okay. And at home, you can take a few antihistamines. You can apply some soothing lotions like calamine lotion. You can even apply some plain moisturizers which you have refrigerated for 10 to 15 minutes, so that it will give you that soothing, cooling effect. But beyond that, if you get it more than 2 to 3 times, you definitely have to visit your dermatologist. And also because you have to rule out infections. Some infections do have symptoms, like if you have a sore throat, if you have a UTI, you'll feel burning sensation when you're, peeing, and you'll have a little bit of stomach pain, all that will be there. But some infections might be hidden, that has to be, examined and evaluated. So if you have symptoms for a long time, please consult a dermatologist. If it is once or twice, you're absolutely okay, no other symptoms other than itching and weeks, you can self medicate.
Okay, fair enough. So, doctor, when a patient comes to you, are there any tests that you normally recommend for proper diagnosis, or just by clinical investigation, physical investigation, you're sure, yeah, that this is urticaria and this could be the reason for it?
So that is a good question. So the thing is, urticaria is very classic. As soon as I see, I can tell that it is urticaria. But that is not the right question. I know what this is, but I have to examine why this is coming. So for that, we need to do tests. Like everyone knows it is urticaria, but why is it coming? So we'll have to do a panel of blood tests. We'll have to check the overall health. We'll have to do the liver function tests, renal function tests. We'll have to examine the urine. Many things are there, and especially if it is immune related. Like there is a set of diseases called connective tissue disorders. You might have heard about SLE, and yeah, so these are connective tissue disorders, we say. So basically, the collagen or the elastin or the connective tissue, it is there, that will have antibodies developed against it. So these antibodies may go haywire and cause urticaria. So that has to be evaluated.
Okay. And what is the line of treatment? What are the treatment options available?
So first thing I would say is to rule out the cause. Any infection, like even hepatitis, all those are serious conditions which manifest only with urticaria, it can happen. So first I will do a whole panel of blood tests to find out the cause, to rule out the cause. And other than that, before that, I would give a few lifestyle modifications like avoiding outside food, roadside food, and even a few people might get urticaria because of dust mites, pollen allergies. So all these common causes have to be ruled out first. They have to be explained to the patient. The lifestyle should be modified. Then we move on to the blood tests. Then if we find out anything that has to be replicated, like yeah, then we give antihistamines. So histamine basically is the molecule responsible for urticaria that is causing the dilatation of blood vessels, that is causing the blood to move out. So that is the histamine.
Right.
So antihistamines are the solution. So we block histamines from going and doing its thing. So these most common ones are levocetirizine, cetirizine, fexofenadine. All these are available. So those are the first line. If that doesn't work, we can go to other drugs like biologicals. We say omalizumab, ligelizumab. So that is a more um how do you say, pinpointed version. This is, we are blocking histamine. In that, we block the receptors itself. So that is like little next step. And we have therapies like, ASST. That is, you take the serum, you do a little modifications to the serum and inject it back. So that is one therapy. And if it is, like you asked, if there are any life threatening conditions, if it is a little more severe, if it is angioedema or something, we'll have to give steroids, we'll have to give adrenaline, and we'll have to treat the patient in an ICU based setup.
Right. Now, doctor, one more thing. Many times people, especially those who have chronic urticaria, they'll ask the question, I'm sure they ask you too, that how much time will it take? And are they permanently going to go away, or do I need to continue the medication throughout my life? This is a very common question people often ask.
Okay. Yeah, it is actually. So, like I said, up to 50% is idiopathic. So if it is chronic, if it is more than 6 weeks, we call it chronic spontaneous urticaria if no underlying cause has been ruled out. So if at all there is no underlying cause, then it is a little difficult to treat. So that we call it chronic spontaneous urticaria. And for that, what I told you was we take the serum, centrifuge it, and inject it back. That is called autologous serum therapy. So that is a course of a few months, but it can work in a few weeks. So it depends on your body type. It's all about how your body reacts, because basically what is an allergy? It is how your body is reacting to an external stimulus. So basically it is how your body reacts. We cannot really tell whether it can be completely treated or not. But like I said, there are biologicals like omalizumab. In fact, I injected omalizumab to one patient just last week.
Mhm.
So those options are there, which do give good results.
Right. Another very common tendency in our society is that we don't follow the prescription to the fullest. I'll start the medication with full dedication. I'll continue it for, say, 15, 20 days. But then after seeing some relief, I'll stop it without informing the doctor. This is again a very common tendency we have. What is your take on it? Is it important to complete the treatment as prescribed by the doctor?
Yeah, definitely, it has to be continued. The most common thing usually in skin is usually late to react because there are many layers, there are multiple layers in skin, and whenever we start a treatment, it takes a lot of time for the skin to show it. So it is always important to complete your course, don't stop it in between. And people are always looking for quick fixes. So they consult one doctor. In 2 weeks, they don't get the desired result. They move to the next doctor. And again, they start from square one, you know. So it's all wasted. The 2 weeks' time is wasted. So you consult another doctor. It keeps, they call it doctor shopping. So that has to be avoided. Complete the course, finish off what has been prescribed. If you still haven't gotten any result, we can move on to the next step. But before finishing the first step, you should not, drop it in between. 15, 20
Yes.
days and all is not at all, a sufficient time for something to be completely gone.
Okay. So, doctor, what happens, as you also said, because when it comes for the first couple of times, people don't know what's happening, and by the time they go to a doctor, that mostly they have these lesions for a couple of days or weeks or so. Is there any mechanism, keeping a diary, keeping notes of what we did whenever we got these, lesions, etc.? Anything that you normally suggest to your people, especially in case of, urticaria where it's spontaneous, there is some trigger. In that case,
Okay. So for that, usually before we suggest all this, most commonly food is one of the allergens. So we have a test called skin prick test. So what you do is you have a list of allergens, most common allergens like egg, fish, prawns, chicken, dust mite. So these are all the various allergens. So that will be pricked into the skin, and if there is any reaction, that will be checked. Then you can say, okay, this person is allergic to this. If suppose nothing comes up, but still the patient is telling, no, I'm still getting urticaria, there's some food which I am, suspecting, then we tell the patient to keep a diary. Just write down whatever you're eating, and every day you keep a journal of whatever these food items that you're eating, like most commonly eggs, milk, nuts. These are the most common allergens. So even when you're making like sambar or something, you don't see all the ingredients, right? So whatever you're eating, list the ingredients also and keep in mind. So you've eaten that. Let's say you're allergic to peanuts. So you've taken lemon rice today, and in lemon rice they would have added peanuts. The next day you have not taken anything. There is no urticaria that day. Then again the next day you have eaten peanuts in some other dish. That day you get urticaria. So that's how you find out. It's not that I will be sitting and eating peanuts every day. Even in the hidden ingredients, those has to be listed, and we can track, what you're allergic to if you keep a food journal.
okay. Doctor, we all know stress is bad for our health. But can urticaria be caused by stress? Or anyways, when a person is having urticaria, he or she is under so much of stress. So is that stress going to make the urticaria even worse?
Yeah, definitely. Stress can be a trigger for urticaria. Like you said, anything and everything under the sun, including the sun, can cause urticaria. So, stress is not something like, oh, I have too much work, I have this mental load. Not just mental stress, even physical stress can cause urticaria. So this mental stress we do not right away, like, I don't know about the other doctors, I do not prescribe anything for stress. Some people take clonazepam, alprazolam, all those, to calm down. But before moving on to medications, I would suggest mindfulness, a little bit of lifestyle modifications, try a little breathing exercises, meditation. It's actually really hard to meditate. You can go try if you want. Even 2 minutes of meditation is really hard. So if you've done it for 5 minutes, it means you've actually achieved something. And that has to be practiced. You call it a practice, not something that you do at one point of time.
Right.
You know. So yeah, so stress management is important, but don't directly jump to medications. Try to reduce it on your own using your lifestyle modifications. That's what I would say.
Okay. Many times, patients with urticaria or hives complain that their hives get worse during night. Any situation?
Can be actually diurnal variation. We call it diurnal variation. This. So the most common thing is the patient is occupied with something else in the morning, and in the night the patients become more free. And one more uh, additional point to this is the cortisol level comes down in the night. So your own body is producing steroids, that is cortisol. Okay, so that will come down. So that can cause urticaria in the night. So in the morning, the levels will go back up because each hormone, each molecule in the body has its own timeline. So yeah, they do complain in the night because the cortisol levels. And one more thing is the distraction.
Yeah, right. Because we are preoccupied during the day.
Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
during night we are more free. I'm getting a lot of questions from our viewers. I'll take a couple of them. Now, there are three similar questions on the preventive measure thing. Tanishka Rajoria, Riya Saku, and another viewer have asked almost the same question. Can it be prevented
Okay.
at the initial stage?
Can it be prevented at the initial stage? No. Actually, yeah, the thing is, urticaria, you have to find out the cause. That is one thing. So, if it is an idiopathic thing, if there is no cause, then it is, difficult. It might come and go. Most of the things will be transient, means it is temporary, it will come and go. What can be prevented at the initial stage is, if there is an underlying cause, you can treat it. Like if there is an infection, treat the infection first and then move to urticaria. If there is a connective tissue disease, you'll have to start the treatment of the connective tissue disease. So in that way, it can be prevented at the initial stage, but urticaria per se cannot be prevented because we can probably give steroids and antihistamines so that it doesn't progress further, but occurrence and recurrence cannot be really prevented at the initial stage.
Okay. Another question is, does it harm our internal
Internal.
organs' health?
Yeah, it can actually does it. One second. Yeah, so internal organs can be affected if it is an anaphylactic shock. I told you before. If the blood doesn't stay where it is supposed to stay and it comes out of the blood vessels, then the patients will have hypovolemic shock. They can be hypovolemic. The volume is low, so it may not reach the brain. So hypoxia can occur. So only in very severe stages it can, affect the internal organs. But most cases of urticaria do not cause any harm.
Doctor, is urticaria contagious?
Contagious? No, it is not contagious. Only uh, we can say, like, if in the house a person has got gobi or kebab or something from outside they've gotten.
Hmm.
And if two, three people eat the same thing, one person's reaction will be different from the other person.
Right.
So it doesn't really spread like that. It depends on the trigger
Hmm.
basically. So even that
Right.
trigger, even if you give the same trigger to all three people will react differently. So no, I would definitely say it is not contagious.
Okay. So urticaria is not contagious. That is really important because otherwise people tend to believe that, especially if they say having infection allergy on your skin can make others infected as well. Oh, I'll take this question again. Pranav Sharma is asking, can urticaria be cured permanently?
There are cases of permanent cure. There are patients who have never gotten another episode again. But there are patients who have gotten today and they've gotten after 6 months again. So again, it depends on the body, how your body is reacting to the medications, how it is reacting to the environment, how it is reacting to whatever you're putting inside. It depends on that. So it can be cured completely in some people, but in a few people it keeps coming again.
Right. Now, doctor, before we sum up the whole session, any take-home message for our viewers?
Um, yeah, the take home message would be, if one or two episodes of urticaria you have experienced, that is very, very common. You need not get scared. But the only thing is, you have to visit your doctor if it is more than 6 weeks duration, because the underlying cause has to be found out and treated. And you have to visit your doctor if you get any other symptoms, like even little bit of sore throat, that itching, little bit of dry cough. So that is one symptom. Breathing difficulty, swelling anywhere in the body, not just the face, lips, or in genitals or anything, anywhere in the body. If you notice any swelling, immediately visit your doctor because it can get worse.
Right. So the bottom line is, in any case, you need to go and consult a qualified dermat. But if the symptoms are, what the doctor has just explained, please do not waste your time. Go and consult the doctor immediately. Thank you so very much, Dr. Sunayana, for your valuable time. It has been a very informative session for our viewers. And at least now we know what to do and what not to do. Self medication is definitely a big no no. Going over counter, getting medicines or topical applications is a big no no. What we need to do is to go and consult a qualified dermat and get it treated properly. Thank you so very much for your time.
Sure. Thank you.
And viewers, thank you for your active participation in today's session. And to get latest updates on how to keep your skin healthy, do like and follow our every page all about skin well-being. We're also available on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you and have a great day.